Hi, this is Greg down in Pensacola, Florida. First, I'd like to say welcome back. And it's been 3 long years since a video's gone up on this channel. The first thing I want to say is thank you to all the subscribers that are still there. There's over 600 of you still subscribed on this channel. I hope to get all the people that left back over the next few months, and we're going to have some fun. The first thing I want to talk about is the Spaceship Corridor project where we left off. That thing was my Achilles heel. When it gets down, I've learned a lot from that project, because the last video that you see here on the YouTube screen was part 6, when it was all, just casted and I laid it out on top of the table where you could see all the pieces. Well, I took all those pieces and I piled them up in some TV trays on there and put them up above my desk. There was 7 trays full of terrain. Everything from a 2x1s all the way up to 12x12s, that 1.5 inch Herstarts block. When you start painting that stuff and you're looking at all that terrain, it never gets done. It really doesn't. I painted and I painted and I painted and I didn't make a dent in it. At that point, I just set it on the shelf and I looked away from it. Moved on to some other stuff. Eventually, a local game store opened up here in town. He's a friend of mine. And, I said, hey, I've got a bunch of Space Hulk terrain. It's cheap. You want it for the store, you could play on it in there. So he picked it up off me. He put it in the store. He started painting it. And it's still being painted. And it's been over a year later. So that terrain, if I ever do a project like that again, which we're going to do some projects here, because when we get done, I got some things to show you. If I ever do a project like that again, it is not going to be, it's got to go in some type of controllable steps. Doing the basic and the advanced at the same time of this project, it's too much. It really is. When you look at all that completed work on there that you did, it was beautiful on the table. We played on it unpainted, no problem at all. But when you start painting that, you can't help but want to paint all the detail on all those blocks. And if you look at all the edging that's on all those blocks, the amount of time it takes to do a single block of just say a basic 5x5 room on there and doing all the edge work, all the cable work, doing the control panels on there. When you start dropping an hour, 2, 3 hours a night on a single block, add that up over 5 to 7 trays of this terrain, yeah, it takes a long time. So first, I apologize for not finishing that series out. The Descent series, I was much smarter on down here, so if you haven't had a chance to watch these, this first 10 videos I did, it was a learning experience with the Herstarts. It was a learning experience with how to record some of these videos. I got to get back in the saddle again on recording the videos and using the software again, because it's been a while. But if you haven't watched that series, go watch the series or just watch a couple videos towards the end on there. I think the end result is really good. That's what I'm going to strive for this time. Pick projects that are actually manageable. Get some stuff done on there. So where I'm going to tell you where we're going tonight is I've got a bunch of new molds. I've got a bunch of Merlin's Magic in front of me that I'm going to show you. And so we're going to pick a project. To get back into used to recording, we're going to do a bunch of demolding projects, because there's some really nice stuff that you should see. And it's not bad to have these up on here. They got decent views. People want to see what comes out of these molds before they buy them. Bruce does a great job, of showing the molds, showing line drawings of the pieces that come out. All I do is I put Merlin's Magic in it. I let it cast. I demold it on camera. You get to see the pieces that come out of there. Then we're going to take some of these molds that I want to demold, and we're going to work on some projects. So for me, let me bring up Safari here on Bruce's site. That trench thing's pretty awesome. I just went there today, and I hadn't seen this yet, and that's pretty good. I don't have the molds for that trench project right there, but we're going to do that one. I just saw that, and it's just a couple molds and some terrain and some flocking, because I really want to increase my skill on using static grass and just being able to make some nice terrain. That's a beautiful job he did on that. But I'm going to show you a few of the molds that I've picked up and talk about some projects that we're going to do. So the first mold that I want to show you is mold 274. So if I come in here, .274 is the bridge mold on there. So that's the steel bridge mold. And this is what the actual mold looks like. I've cast this a bunch of times for somebody. Somebody just wanted the raw cast down at the game store. So he gave me the Merlin's Magic. I told him, give me a few nights and I'll cast it out. I did that about a year ago. This mold is money right here. These pieces come out perfect. I mean, they are beautiful and they sit there on the table. That's a project I want to do. I want to do that steel bridge. Again, there's some diorama work in that I'd like to try and increase my skill on. So if any of you people watching the channel see me start working on this and have any tips or anything like that, I would really appreciate them, because doing the raw casting, I have the casting down. I can do the casting. When you start working on making the rock terrain and sanding it right and shading it right and stuff like that, that's where it gets a little different. So then we're going to move on to the next set of molds that I've bought. And this set right here, this is mold 205. This is your decorative floor tile for the Gothic dungeon set. So I've got the molds here. Here's mold 42. Here's mold 41. And mold 45. And mold 201. I was sorting my things today and I ran out of Ziploc bags. That's why some of these aren't in bags right now. But this right here is going to be our Dungeon Gothic set. I still need 2 molds for this. I think, what am I on? 41? I need 42 and 43. So I still need to get 42 and 43. So this project is going to come down. I'm a fantasy guy first over sci-fi. I love fantasy. I play fantasy board games. We have an RPG group. We play RPGs here. I'm a War Machine fanatic on there. So I love fantasy stuff. This is going to get built, but we're going to build it manageable. And he's laid it out manageable on the site, because what he's done is he started with the basic molds, and we can go through, I think it's 5 or 6 pages total of builds for these molds, but the first 3 pages we could actually do. I think he brings mold 44 and 45 in page 4, 5, or 5, 6, like that. So we could actually start on this, but you know, I got something else that I want to start on. This right here, oops, sorry. We're going to do, let me try and bring the iPad back on here. Let's see if we can get it over to the project section of the page. And what we are going to build is the modular inn. This thing is beautiful. I saw this. We're going to make all these pieces. We're going to start from the beginning. We're going to cast these out. We're going to paint them. We're going to paint them in a manageable way this time. You know, we're going to do a couple rooms, break, paint it, you know, make sure we got the paint scheme down and stuff like that, and just continue through. So this is the project right there that he's got laid out on site, and we're going to follow this verbatim on there so when it gets done. So what we've got for the molds is we got them all right here. We got mold 57, which looks like this. We got mold 58. And we got mold 59. 701, which is a bunch of fieldstone molds. 75, this is the ruined fieldstone, and this mold you can use with 701 to make that ruined fieldstone tower, kind of a diorama. Be a nice fantasy piece for the game table. I may end up doing that one down the road too, because I really like that mold. And then the decorative inn floor tiles. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to make a demolding video for each one of these molds, because I know you want to see what's in there. There's like a bed in here. I've cast this one a few times on here. It's pretty sweet. This door over here is really sweet. The bed was up here in case that was off camera. It's got some other stuff in here. Like I said, the best thing about the demoldings is you see what's on this mold, but it is awesome when you put that your dental stone or whatever casting material you choose to use in here, and you start popping these things out. They look great. And you can tell it's been 3 years since I used a camera, because I can't keep it on the table for some reason. But so that's that. So I'm going to make a demolding for every one of these on there. We're going to put those up. So that's where we're going to start. So when I get done here, I may start casting these out tonight, but by this weekend I will have all 6 of these done. and I'll have them up on the channel next week so you can see the demolding. After that, we're going to move in. We'll shoot the first video. We'll get the starting point on there of what we're going to do. And oops, let me put that back on macro. On where we're going to start. And we'll start on step 1 on the plans, just like we did with the descent board. We'll start on step 1. We're going to cast the molds that many times that Bruce says. We'll separate all that stuff. I've kind of upgraded some of my things in the house. It's helped because when I was doing some casting for a friend of mine on there in between, over the course of the 3 years here, bought a 5-layer dehydrator, and that's made all the difference in casting speed. I mean, I can sit there, I can knock these out, I can put them in the dehydrator. In the morning, I walk by my office and I turn them off. I turn the dehydrator off. Those stones are ready to go the next morning. So, in addition to those molds there, I have a whole pile of molds in these bags. So there's a lot. Not sure if I have the exact number. There's 41 of them here. So we have projects that we can make. And when I say I'm serious about getting back into this, and excuse the dog if you hear him because he's outside my door. He's a little mad that he can't get in. There's 50 pounds of Merlin's Magic. That makes 100 pounds of Merlin's Magic. And that last box right there is 150 pounds of Merlin's Magic sealed, ready to go for some projects for this channel. I want to make some stuff and give it away to subscribers down the line. To thank you guys for hanging in there, to thank the new guys that are coming in, just to have some fun. Because there's some of this stuff I want to use, but there's other stuff here I want to build. I might not have a huge, use for, but somebody else may like it out there, like the bridge. I really like the bridge. I don't play too many World War II games. I have some bolt action stuff, but it never really hits the table all that much. For me, what's hitting the table nowadays is War Machine. I'm a press ganger here in Pensacola. We got a gaming group, Westside War Machine. So on the channel, you are going to see War Machine recorded battle reports that are going to fill in here. We record those down at my buddy's shop called the Game Space here in Pensacola. We play on Wednesday nights, so if you're ever in town, you ever want to get a game in, we're down there. There's usually 5 to 10 of us every Wednesday night down there. We do tournaments, we do scrambles, we do stuff like that. So my whole world, it sits there. I like to paint, so this is Dynamo for Signar, and stuff like that. So it's a lot of my time is spent painting and and doing other stuff like that. So like I said, I'm a fantasy first guy. So when we build that Gothic dungeon, we're also going to do something else. This is the original Reaper Kickstarter. All I've done is crack the box package. None of this has even been opened yet. So all that Vampire Kickstarter, there is a metric ton of stuff in this box. We're going to take a look at that because we do that Gothic dungeon. We're going to paint some of these figs up, make it look good. We can use some different rule sets on there, but for the most part, I can run use the descent rules on there, so whatever we want to do to make it light. I would like to record a live session of that. And speaking of live sessions, when I'm casting at night, if you guys want me to sit there and flip this thing on live, because when I cast, I cast a series of molds, and then I just hang out for usually like 10 or 15 minutes. I watch some YouTube videos, or I just hang out and surf the net while I'm waiting for them to cast. But if you'd like to sit there, if you'd like to see this go live, and I'll stream it live on YouTube on there, I'll put up a thing. It'll probably be like Thursday nights or Tuesday nights or maybe some weekend nights if I'm just sitting around doing nothing. That way I can cast and work. You guys can ask questions. We can just talk. We can talk about War Machine. We can talk about RPGs, board games, whatever you want on there. So this is me saying thank you to you for still being here. And I'm looking forward to having some fun. I'm looking forward to trying out some new equipment. I did get a new mixer. That's what's right over here. I got some new software from Corel. We're going to try and make it look good, try to make it sound good, and try and have some fun. So again, thank you. Hit like. Let your buddies know. I'm back. These videos are going to be back online. So thanks again, and I'll see you soon.